Hi guys, we're back with another Mindful Monday moment where we do a full tile. I have a 9x9 square from scrapbook paper. I've got my pen, my pencil, and my tortillon. To start, we're going to take a big breath in through our nose. And blow it out through our mouth. And then do it one more time. All right, the next step we're going to do is think of something that we're grateful for. Doesn't have to be something big. It could be something as easy as having a minute to yourself to watch the video. If the video goes too fast at times, you can always just pause it to catch up or come back to later. Okay, next step, we're gonna pick up our pencils. We're gonna do our corner dots. About a finger width in the corners of our tile. Making sure we're comfortable in the chair. Not all scrunched up. Light grip on the pen or pencil. I'm open to what we're going to produce. Today we're going to try and use the Tangle Spoken as our string. So we're going to start with an orb or circle in the center of our tile somewhere. And then Spoken kind of grows off of like rice pods. You can do it with straight lines too, but I saw it done with rice pods and it looked kind of funky. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. Figure you need 5 rice pods roughly in the shape of where the points of a star would be. Just done in your pencil. And we're gonna put our pencils down and we're going to pick up our pens. I'm gonna ink in the orb. And I'm gonna point out where I think my rice pod should go. And I'm gonna do from that point that I marked back to the central orb. All right, for Spoken, we're gonna go from the left side of one of the rice pods. We're gonna trace the shape of one of the rice pods about halfway, and then we're going to extend the line to our border, and then we're going to echo that beside it. I think it looks better if we do it all the way up along one side of the rice pod. So I'm going to do the whole rice pod for the next 2 as well. Turn our tiles, make the stroke easier. I'm just following the natural stroke of the rice pod as best we can. All right, the second half is to imagine that the other side of your rice pod tucks underneath, like the holly ball. So if we follow this line up, it extends to our border, and we replicate the band width, have it follow a similar line. Lifting our pen when we get to that line and imagining it continues on after, and then auraing that shape. And that's just given us different sections to tangle in. And I can sort of ink in that extra part of my rice pod. I haven't done that one yet. If you don't want to ink them in, you can do vertical or horizontal lines. You could do tipple or orbs, and you can leave them blank. Your tile, your preference. Just be intentional about what you do in each stroke. And remember, yours isn't going to look like anyone else's. All right. I think I'm going to start with some indyrella. For indyrella, we're going to pick a section. It starts with a dot, and then you aura 2/3 of the dot with lines getting progressively bigger for maybe 2 or 3, and then progressively smaller again. And then you do another dot, and echo the lines again to the point where you can tuck them in beside each other. And just continue to do indyrellas until you fill the space you have to work with. And you can do them big. You can do them small. But the trick is to figure out how to fit them in the space that you have to fill. Some of them look kind of wonky. Oh well. For some of the smaller spaces, I think I'm just going to do tipple, which is a series of orbs bumping up against each other in varying sizes to fill the space. And once you've fit in as many orbs as you can, now we can go back and ink in all the gaps or the interstices, as they call them. Remembering to breathe. If you like some music, play some music. All right, there's our tipple. The next one we're going to do is the grid pattern. I'm just going to divide this section in half. And then I'm going to do some horizontal lines. We're going to do some bales, like this one here. And for bales, after you've got your grid, you just do rice pods to continue with how we started spoken on either side of the line that you've done. This one's full square, so we're going to go from one point to the next. Otherwise, you just imagine where the line would end up. And after we've done all of our vertical lines, we'll rotate. We'll do them in the other direction, from corner to corner, to the right and left of the line. You're putting in a rice pod. Or a portion of a rice pod. And when you think you have your, we're going to do one from corner to corner. Nope. We're going to do one in the opposite direction. This time we're going to tuck it under that center rice pod that's going diagonally. We're going to lift our bend. It's okay if all of your pods are not the same, because all of your squares are likely not the same either. Gonna do some crescent moon. I'll start with my ladybug shape on the perimeter of the section. I'm gonna ink it in. The next step is to do an aura. Around each ladybug shape. I'm going to ink in that. Section because it makes it easier to do the auras to the line. Trying to do the aura the same distance away from the ladybug shape on each of them. Again, trying to, doesn't have to match perfectly. I'll go to the third aura. When you can't do a full aura, then you just echo the inside of the shape until you run out of room. Right, and this one I'm going to do some Printemps. So we start at a circle. We'll do like a cinnamon roll and tuck it in. And then really close to it, I'm going to do another one so that I can bump up, lift my pen, and finish it. Just keep doing your Printemps until you fill your space, or as much of your space as you'd like. And where you don't have a Printemps, you can just ink in. Gonna do another grid pattern in the corner here. And get my border all the way around. Okay, so I've divided the space in half. And then in quarters. This one is Knightsbridge, just one of the starter tangles. Just looks like a checkerboard pattern. And you just want to make sure that the corners that are touching are all inked in, and the ones beside them are white. I like to give myself a dot when I've mapped out the ones I'm going to color in, so I stay on track, because I'm easily distracted most of the time, which is another reason why the tangling I find is helpful. Turn your tile or your book or your page, whatever you're working with, to make sure the stroke is comfortable and you're not causing more stress when you're trying to de-stress. Make sure you're still relaxed in the chair, well supported, nice grip on the pen or pencil, whatever tool you're using. All right, there's my Knightsbridge. I have a few sections left. I think I should do something. I think I'm gonna do, this one looks like a triangle, so I'm gonna divide it in half. And I'm gonna do munchin. So you pick one point of your triangle and the facing line, and you just draw lines from that central point the full length of the line, about the same distance apart. And then when you've done that, you want to add a little weight at the bottom of the line. So you end up retracing the line back to that point corner and doing like a mini triangle at the bottom. And then for this side, I'll do it on the inside of the triangle and same on that side. For this one, I want the lines to go in a different way, so I'm going to use the point at the top. And same idea, I'm going to go down along this line, trying to keep the distance about the same all the way along. And then adding weight. All right, there's not much room in these two sections. I'm just gonna finish it out with more of the tipple. I'm gonna ink in my interstices. All right, for the small one left, I'm going to do what's called a henna drum, which starts with a muka, or a fescue, I should say. It's a line up with a bulbous end, and then you pour that from just below the tip, and then back in, and then a crescent moon. Semicircle, and then you pour that, and then you're going to do the petals of a flower, and you're going to go straight out in line with the base of it. 1, 2, 3. You can do 2, you can do 4, whatever you want, but the trick is to always have your petals come back to the center of your crescent moon, so they look like they're all right. You don't see all the petals on that side, too small space, too big a muka. And then I go and I'm just gonna add my flicks at the base to sort of give the wrinkle that some petals have. Gonna cap my pen, and I'm gonna go back and I'm going to add some shade. I'm going to do shade around the central orb at the side of my pencil. I'm gonna add some shade to each of the points on the spoken where it tucks under, to the right and to the left. for my crescent moon, I'm going to add it to the white space between the ladybug shapes. Printemps, I'm going to trace it around the outside of my first printemps, and I'm going to do it on any of the sides that overlap. Another one. For my henna drum, I'm just gonna put some graphite where the flicks of the flower are. For the munchin, I'm gonna do it along the base of where the lines touch. For the bales, I'm just gonna trace the inside of the section that they're in. For the tipple, I'm just going to do a smiley face on all of the larger orbs, including the central one. And for indyrella, I'm just going to draw a line in graphite down the center of them. And for Knightsbridge, I'm going to do an L shape of graphite on the corners, and the same corner in each one. I'm going to put that pencil down, and I'm going to go about buffing out or softening the graphite. Careful to buff away from the areas you want to keep white. So you can create that effect of shade or shadow. The crescent moon, I'm just drawing it towards the center. It sort of accentuates the bend of the line. Printemps, I want to make sure that the first one stays white, and that the others that overlap emphasize the shadow of those underneath them. For henna drum, I'm just going to spread out the graphite up the center of the petal. For all of the tipple and the orb in the middle, just going to soften the graphite on one side of the orb. Sort of gives a shadow. You don't want to do a full circle because then you'll smudge the white you have on the top half and you lose the effect of providing it. Spoken. Just going to draw all the graphite into the center of that section to see what effect that offers. Munchin, I'm going to draw it all the way up back towards the starting point. Indyrella, pick up my pens. I'm gonna add my chop. Excuse me. And I'm going to appreciate that I have not yet softened the graphite on Knightsbridge. You just want to soften it in the same direction, the L shape that you've done the line. Big deep breath in. And I appreciate you joining me today. I hope to do some shorter videos for some 10-minute timeout tangles. Till next time.